Welcome back to Ration Nerd, everyone. Thanks for joining me here on the channel. I appreciate you coming here and spending some time with me. Today, we are going to get into this Canadian Army emergency ration. What it says here on the front is the purpose of the contents is to be consumed only when no other rations of any kind are procurable, not to be opened except by order of an officer. Well, I don't exactly have an officer around, but I have absolutely no idea what the storage conditions of this ration were. I am positive that it is probably not any good, but we are going to give it a try anyway. This does have a pretty awesome key still attached. There is a little bit of rust on this, guys. I'm really hoping, as I'm always hoping, that there's something edible inside of this ration. And once I get to turning this guy, I will STFU so we can see if there's a hiss coming off of this guy. Or maybe it'll just squirt out of there. That would be pretty hideous, but let's give it a try. That was a zero hiss situation right there. That really sucks. Not picking up any crazy smells at the moment. That's always a good thing. Absolutely love this part. Ooh. That came with some chunky bits that came off of the container. That's alright. So I don't see any corrosion or anything on the inside. Let's get a sniff check on this guy. That's not... Those stains right there are never a good sign. I mean, that kind of has a sickly sweet smell. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't necessarily unpleasant. I'm probably just asking for way too much for this thing still to be edible. We will give it a try. So we have some heavily stained cardboard that was keeping everybody together in there. Looks like we have 2 packs of biscuits. A little bit of oily texture from some stuff in here. Alright, we'll check out that in a second. Oh. Canadian Army emergency ration. This ration should be eaten slowly. Oh, chocolate bar. If this chocolate bar has a white surface, it will be the result of excessive heat. However, this whitened surface does not affect the eating quality of the chocolate, and it will still retain full food value. That was from Fry Cadbury Limited in Montreal. Very cool. One more. There's one more in the bottom. It just doesn't want to come out of there. I'm going to try to give you guys a sneak peek in there before I destroy the packaging trying to get this thing out of there. It is definitely time welded into the bottom of this can. Oh, it's just coming apart. The chocolate filthy dust on the table. Not cool. It is holding on for dear life. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. All of that chocolate bar has really turned to dust. Really, there we go. Now it finally comes out of there. Oh. And all your dust. So that was absolutely messy. That chocolate dust. Alright, so what did we have on this pamphlet in here? So, Canadian Army emergency ration. So basically it says the same thing on the exterior of the can, and that's printed on the chocolate bar. So let's check out these biscuits. I mean, I can't imagine any of this stuff is still edible. Ooh. That's got some stuff growing on it? That's not cool. What is that? Oh, I don't know what it is. Seems like every time I get something Canadian on the table, it turns out to be a disaster. Like, what is going on here? I mean, to be fair, this thing is ancient, so it has no business being edible anyway, but I just wanted to check it out. It looked like a lot of fun. Alright, here we have 3 more biscuits that have some of that red, weird stuff growing on them. I'm not real sure what that is. So at some point, there was definitely some moisture introduced into this can. I'm not exactly sure what that is growing upon the biscuits, but it definitely is moisture related. Unless somebody knows anything different, please do me a favor. Leave me a comment in the comment section. The inside of the can does look a little worse for wear, but I did just stick my knife probing around in there trying to dig out that chocolate bar. I really like canned rations, but unfortunately they just don't hold up. I can't hold the ration completely accountable for the lack of it being edible, just simply because I'm sure we are way past the intended expiration date of this ration. So we'll go ahead and open up this chocolate bar just to see what it looks like after decades of sitting inside of a can. I would have loved to have seen what this bar looked like when it was originally produced. It's definitely stained the wrapper quite a bit. I wonder if you can get sick just by handling this stuff. Who knows? Take a look at that chocolate bar. She's got a little age on her. Don't hate. Let's get a sniff of that. You know, oddly enough, that actually doesn't even smell bad. I'm sure it's hideously bad, but it really doesn't smell bad. It almost seems like, at this point in the decomposition process of this food bar, it really just looks like compressed hot cocoa powder. Oh, I'm sure it may have looked differently when it was first made, but right now, it really just looks like compressed hot cocoa. I wish I could find anything online that would allow me to tell you whether or not this was the case. If this is the way it originally looked when it was manufactured, I really want to take a bite of this thing. It's probably going to be a really bad idea. I tell you what, I value my life. I just don't think that's doable. It kind of smells okay. It kind of smells like death. You know, I'm just not into that. So, thanks for joining me for this really short review of a Canadian Army emergency ration. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get any bites of anything today because, well, it's got stuff growing on it, and I'm just not into that whole disease thing. But it was cool to open this up, see what's on the inside, imagine what that would have tasted like when it was in its prime. I imagine these crackers were probably, well, hardtack crackers. They're kind of soft now, but I think that's a product of age. This is nice and soft, almost like a hot cocoa powder consistency. I'm sure it probably looked different when it was produced. This would have been a ton of fun to get my hands on an edible version of this, but it just wasn't to be. So thank you for joining me here on Ration Nerd to check out this Canadian Army emergency ration. Bummer we weren't able to get any of this down our face hole today, but you know what they say. Until next time, eat 'em up.